So, to start the segment of student sharing, let's please give a warm welcome to our 2007 alumni, Mr. Richard DeVries.
Okay, thank you. And thank you to Professor Shang for the very complimentary old photo up there from a long time ago. As you can see on there, I'm actually from the class of 2007, so that's quite a while ago now. But I still keep in contact quite a lot with the IMBA program, and I think that's one of the things that I found to be very beneficial for the program myself, is that the connections and keeping in contact. I still live in Taipei. I'm from Canada. Excuse me. But I've made Taiwan pretty much my home now. I have children here, I have a wife here, so I have pretty deep roots, I would say, with Taiwan, and I find that the IMBA has become almost like a family in that, we keep in contact. Just last week, there was the 60th anniversary of the College of Commerce, I believe, and I saw Dr. Shang there, as well as many of my old classmates, as well as people from other departments here as well. So I would say that's one of the big benefits I've found from the program. As you saw from that slide, when I first came to Taiwan, actually previous to that, in Canada I was in sales and marketing, right? In B2B style sales, kind of a traditional industry. I wanted to see something different, so at that time, I wanted to perhaps learn some Chinese, which maybe hasn't been as successful as opening a company. But I thought, okay, Taiwan is an interesting place. Came here, as a lot of foreigners, Uyghur will say, they wanted to come for a year, and then they made it another year, and a following year, and so on. I was working for another consulting company, just plainly as a consultant, for marketing and these types of things with Taiwan companies. But I found if I'm going to stay here, I'd like to build something on my own. And to do that, you have to know more than just your own space, like your own expertise. You have to sort of know a little bit broader ideas about how to run a business, how to work with people, how to manage people. So that was a main reason why I took this program. So I would say, if I split it into two major benefits that I found from the IMBA program, number one was kind of opening my mind, or putting me in a spot that I could learn more. Now, you could go online and from Coursera or something like that, but for myself, I needed to have the interaction. What I found was great is coming in here, learning about things I never knew about. Like I didn't know that HR was such a strategic area to learn about, or even finance or marketing. All of these types of subjects, yes, I could have read in a book, but what I really got from this was the interaction. Even the kind of the layout of this classroom I found was interesting, because it developed a lot of debating back and forth. So kind of forcing me to come on weekends, and maybe when I got up in the morning, I'd be like, it's a weekend, maybe I don't want to, but as soon as I got here, I always changed my mind, and it became like a very kind of activating experience, I would say. So that was one major thing, is putting me in the right mindset to learn new subjects. And also, because we have such a wide variety of students, as you saw, almost half are foreigners from other countries, and the other half are Taiwanese students. And also my classmates were from all over the place, from Europe, from South America, there was a few from Africa, and then of course from North America, such as myself, and a couple others. So I found that the learning how other people think and communicate was, beyond language, but just the way that people do business and think was a very important part of it. Afterwards, I set up my own company, which is Gerber Brand Consulting, based in Taipei, and we have to help Taiwanese companies build their brands and build markets overseas. And in order to do that, I have to know how people in different countries think, and how they purchase things, how to market to them, and that. And I found I learned a lot through this program. Whereas if I was just with my same type of people, other Americans or Canadians, I would always have the same sort of mindset. So for myself, that was a very, very big thing. Also, like I say, learning about some subjects I didn't think were so important before, such as HR. And I always thought of HR as being like the HR department, the ones who tell you what you can't do, this kind of idea. But no, under Professor Lee from, I believe he was at TSMC, Taijidian before, that was one of very good course. Learning about how it can be a strategic part of building your own business. And I still use a lot of these concepts that he taught. I still use these to this day with my own company. How to motivate people, how to incentivize, and how to change or encourage the right behaviors. Also, I found you saw Professor Jason Lin, right? From UCLA, and he was a very good professor for finance. He comes here usually every year, and he's here short term, but it's a very intensive course, but very, very interesting. And again, his course wasn't so much teaching about equations and so on. That was another financial management course, but he sort of taught us about the big picture. And again, I use that to this day, this type of thinking. And many other, I could go on and on about the different courses that were really quite interesting. So that was one major part, is just expanding my mind and learning about new areas that I could apply to my own business. And then the second major thing was the connections. Like I say, during my time here in the last year, that's when I established my company. And for the first few years, it was quite slow going. But after it started taking off and we had more and more clients, we started having them, a client that was interested in expanding into Argentina. So I have alumni contacts from South America that I keep in contact with, and they help us with our market research there. Some of the people even on our staff today are either current or past students from IMBA program. We've also had interns from the IMBA program that work at our company as well. So we have a paid internship program that, sometimes some of our students from now will apply, and they'll work during the summer or whenever, and help us on market research and coming up with strategy for Taiwanese and foreign companies. So these types of connections, I think, were a very, very big thing for us. And also helps for, I believe, for a lot of the Taiwanese classmates I had, because we keep in contact as well. And they come by our office, and it's always interesting when I get a phone call and their company is needing branding help and so on, and we can work together. And the situation just keeps improving that way. So I think those are, like I say, the two major things that I would say is opening my mind, the very interesting courses that I took here, and kind of the debating style sometimes because of different cultures. I know some students, at the beginning, puts you out of your comfort zone a little bit, but I think that's a very important thing, because a lot of you want to work for companies that are international maybe, or you're going to deal with people from other cultures. And this gives you kind of a very good learning opportunity in how to deal with that, how to change your thinking, how to tailor your communication to deal with many people from different places. Also, even like I found the way that people work, how they manage their time was very educational to me. From our German and Swiss classmates that would be angry if you were 1 minute late, to other ones that were much more, let's say, flexible with time. And that just as an example, and puts us into a different frame set. So yeah, thank you. And if you have any questions later, I think there'll be some time for questions.